You're listening to Crater Community Radio. And now, here's a classic scene from the Goodnight Flagstaff series.
The cliffs were very close behind him now. Inigo continued to retreat. The man in black continued advancing. Then Inigo countered with the T-bolt, and the man in black blocked it. He blocked it! Inigo repeated the T-bolt move, and again it didn't work. He switched to Capo Ferro. He tried Bonetti. He went to Fabrice. In desperation, he began a move used only twice by Sanct. Nothing worked. The man in black kept attacking, and the cliffs were almost there. "You are most excellent," he said. His rear foot was at the cliff edge. He could retreat no more. "Thank you," the man in black replied. "I've worked very hard to become so." "You are better than I am," Inigo admitted. "So it seems. But if that is true, then why are you smiling?" "Because," Inigo answered, "I know something you don't know." "And what is that?" asked the man in black. "I'm not left-handed," Inigo replied. And with those words, he all but threw the six-fingered sword into his right hand, and the tide of battle turned. The man in black retreated before the slashing of the great sword. He tried to sidestep, tried to parry, tried to somehow escape the doom that was now inevitable, but there was no way. He could block 50 thrusts. The 51st flicked through, and now his left arm was bleeding. He could thwart 30 riposts, but not the 31st, and now his shoulder bled. The wounds were not yet grave, but they kept on coming as they dodged across the stones. And then the man in black found himself amidst the trees, and that was bad for him. So he all but fled before Inigo's onslaught. And then he was in the open again. But Inigo kept coming. Nothing could stop him. And then the man in black was back among the boulders. And that was even worse for him than the trees. And he shouted out in frustration and practically ran to where there was open space again. But there was no dealing with the wizard. And slowly, again, the deadly cliffs became a factor in the fight. Only now it was the man in black who was being forced to doom. He was brave, and he was strong, and the cuts did not make him beg for mercy, and he showed no fear behind his black mask. "You are amazing," he cried, as Inigo increased the already blinding speed of the blade. "Thank you. It has not come without effort." The death moment was at hand now. Again and again, Inigo thrust forward, and again the man in black managed to ward off the attacks, but each time it was harder, and the strength in Inigo's wrist was endless, and he only thrust the more fiercely, and soon the man in black grew weak. "You cannot tell it," he said, "because I wear a cape and mask, but I am smiling now." "Why?" "Because I am not left-handed either," said the man in black, and he too switched hands, and now the battle was finally joined, and Inigo began to retreat. "Who are you?" he screamed. "No one of import, another lover of the blade." "I must know!" "Get used to disappointment." They flashed along the open plateau now, and the blades were both invisible, but oh, the earth trembled, and oh, the skies shook, and Inigo was losing. He tried to make for the trees, but the man in black would have none of it. He tried retreating to the boulders, but that was denied him too. And in the open, unthinkable as it was, the man in black was superior. Not much, but in a multitude of tiny ways, he was of a slightly higher quality, a hair quicker, a fraction stronger, a speck faster. Not really much at all, but it was enough. They met in center plateau for the final assault. Neither man conceded anything. The sound of metal clashing metal rose. A final burst of energy flew through Inigo's veins, and he made every attempt, tried every trick, used every hour of every day of his years of experience, but he was blocked by the man in black. He was shackled by the man in black. He was baffled, thwarted, muzzled, beaten by the man in black. A final flick and the great six-fingered sword went flying from his hand. Inigo stood there, helpless. Then he dropped to his knees, bowed his head, closed his eyes. "Do it quickly," he said. "May my hands fall from my wrist before I kill an artist like yourself," said the man in black. "I would as soon destroy Da Vinci. However," and here he clubbed Inigo's head with the butt of his sword, "since I can't have you following me either, please understand that I hold you in the highest respect." He struck one more time, and the Spaniard fell unconscious. The man in black quickly tied Inigo's hands around a tree and left him there, for the moment, sleeping and helpless. Then he sheathed his sword and raced into the night.